The champagne flute trembles in Sophia's hand as she stares at the photos. Scattered across their silk comforter, golden are light streams through the sheer curtains of their Manhattan penthouse, casting everything in honeyed amber the way it did on that cliff in Santorini just yesterday. The way it caught in her hair when Marcus whispered promises against her temple. Look at this one. She breathes, lifting a photo where his hands circle her waist from behind, their bodies pressed together against the endless blue of the Aegean Sea. Her wedding ring catches the light. 3 days married. 3 days of being Mrs. Marcus Sterling. The name still feels like silk on her tongue. Marcus emerges from their walk-in closet, dress shirt unbuttoned, revealing the chest she's memorized with her fingertips. His dark hair is still tousled from the plane, and when he looks at her sprawled on their bed in nothing but his oversized Oxford and lace panties, something primal flickers in his steel-gray eyes. Mrs. Sterling, he murmurs, voice rough with exhaustion and want. You're going to be the death of me. She grins, stretching like a cat in the late afternoon light. Good, that was always the plan. He crosses to her, movements predatory and graceful. The mattress dips under his weight as he settles beside her, fingers trailing along her bare thigh. His touch sets her skin ablaze, just as it did that first night 6 months ago when he cornered her at her gallery opening. God, look at us, Sophia whispers, holding up another photo. This one captures them dancing on the terrace of their suite, her white sundress flowing around her legs, his mouth pressed to her neck. We look, drunk on each other. He finishes, taking the photo. His thumb traces over her captured smile. You were wearing that perfume, the one that makes me lose my mind. Chanel chants. She leans into him, letting her hair brush his jaw. I wore it on purpose. His laugh is low, dangerous. Everything you do is on purpose, isn't it? She's about to respond with something wicked when his phone buzzes against the nightstand. The sound cuts through the intimate bubble they've created. Sharp and intrusive, Marcus doesn't move to answer it. Might be important, she says, though every cell in her body protests the interruption. Nothing's more important than this. His fingers find the hem of his shirt on her body, sliding underneath to trace patterns on her hip. Then the phone, buzzes again, longer this time. A call. Sophia sighs, reaching across him to grab it. The motion presses her chest against his, and she feels his sharp intake of breath. But when she glances at the screen, her heart stutters. Vivian calling. The name hits her like ice water. Vivian, Marcus's ex-fiancée, the woman who shattered him so completely 2 years ago that he swore off love until Sophia crashed into his carefully constructed walls. Marcus, her voice comes out smaller than intended. He takes the phone, declining the call without looking at it. Probably a wrong number, but his jaw has gone tight. The easy intimacy of moments before evaporates, like morning mist. That was Vivian calling, she says carefully, his fingers still on her skin. Soph, the phone buzzes with a text, then another. Marcus reaches for it, but Sophia's quicker. She's always been quicker. The messages are right there on his lock screen. From Vivian. I miss you already. Last night was perfect. I'm sorry we can't be more, but you know why. She's lucky to have you. But we both know what we shared. The photos scatter as Sophia sits up abruptly, Marcus's shirt sliding off her shoulder. The late afternoon light that seemed so romantic moments before now feels harsh, exposing. Sophia, let me explain. Last night, her voice is deadly quiet. We got married 3 days ago, Marcus. We've been on our honeymoon. His face goes pale. Beautiful, devastating, guilty. It's not what you think. But she's already standing, silk and lace and fury incarnate. The woman who fell in love with his broken edges, who spent months teaching him to trust again, who promised him forever just 72 hours ago. Then tell me what it is. The silence stretches between them like a chasm. Sophia stands by their floor-to-ceiling windows, Marcus's shirt hanging loose on her frame, Manhattan glittering below in the dying light. She can see their reflection, her dark hair tumbling over pale shoulders, him sitting on the edge of their bed, head in his hands. He looks destroyed. Good, I need to know everything, she says without turning around. Her voice is steady, but he knows her well enough to hear the tremor underneath. Every detail, every moment, every lie. Sophia, please no. She spins to face him, and the raw pain in her dark eyes makes him flinch. You don't get to please me right now. You don't get to use that voice on me, the one that makes me forget my own name. He stands, and she steps back instinctively. The movement cuts him deeper than any scream could. It was 2 nights before the wedding. He begins, voice hoarse. I couldn't sleep, kept thinking about how I was about to have everything I'd always wanted, but never believed I deserved. She laughs, bitter and sharp. So you called your ex-fiancé? She called me. He runs his hands through his hair, the gesture she usually finds endearing now making her sick. Said she'd heard about the wedding. Wanted to congratulate me. How thoughtful of her. We met for coffee, that's all. I swear to God, that's all it was supposed to be. Sophia sinks into the velvet armchair by the window, suddenly exhausted. The adrenaline is fading, leaving only the hollow ache of betrayal. But it wasn't. No. The word falls between them like a stone. We went back to her place. We talked about us, about what went wrong, about whether we'd made the right choices. And then Marcus looks at her, really looks at her, takes in the way she's curled into herself, arms wrapped around her knees like armor. This woman who opened her heart to him, who saw past his walls to the man underneath, who whispered I do with such faith, such trust, and then I kissed her. The confession hangs in the air between them. Sophia doesn't move, doesn't breathe, just stares at him with those dark eyes that see everything. Was it good? She asks finally. The question surprises him. What? The kiss? Did it feel like coming home? Did it make you question everything? Did you remember why you loved her? Sophia, answer me. Her voice cracks on the words. I need to know if my husband was thinking about another woman when he kissed me at the altar. The sunset paints them, both in shades of gold and crimson, but the beauty feels mocking now. Marcus moves toward her, slowly, like she's a wild thing that might bolt. It felt like goodbye, he says quietly, like closing a door that should have stayed closed years ago. Then why? She stops, pressing her lips together. Why what? Why do her messages sound like the beginning of something instead of the end? He's close enough now to touch her, to see the tears she's fighting not to shed, because she wants what she can't have, what she threw away. But Soph, I swear to you, don't call me that. The pet name that usually makes her melt now feels like a slap. Don't you dare call me that. The kiss meant nothing, less than nothing. It was closure. She stands abruptly, brushing past him toward their walk-in closet. The scent of her perfume, that damn Chanel that drives him wild trails behind her like a ghost. Where are you going? To pack. She emerges with a suitcase, begins throwing clothes into it with sharp, efficient movements. I can't do this. I can't be here. You can't leave. We just got back from our honeymoon. The irony isn't lost on either of them, apparently. You had a different kind of honeymoon altogether. She holds up the black lace dress she wore to their rehearsal dinner, the one he spent half the night trying to get her out of. Now it just looks like evidence of her naivety. Sophia, please. I love you. I married you. You kissed another woman. 2 days before our wedding. Each word is precisely enunciated, like she's trying to make herself believe it. While I was getting my nails done and confirming flowers and believing in fairy tales. She's crying now, silent tears that streak down her cheeks. Marcus has seen her angry, passionate, vulnerable but never broken. Never like this. I'll do anything, he whispers. Anything to fix this. She stops packing, suitcase half full, and looks at him, really looks at him. At this man who has been her world for 6 months, her husband for 3 days, her heartbreak for 3 minutes. Can you take it back? If I could, can you take it back, Marcus? No, she nods, zips the suitcase closed. Then there's nothing to fix. The penthouse feels cavernous without her laughter echoing off the walls. Marcus stands at the same window where she stood hours ago, watching the city lights blur through the rain that started after she left. His reflection stares back hollow-eyed, tie loosened, the picture of a man who's lost everything that mattered. His phone buzzes. For a wild moment, his heart leaps, hoping it's her. But it's just his assistant, confirming tomorrow's meetings. The world keeps spinning, indifferent to his destruction. He should have gone after her, should have followed her to whatever hotel she's hiding in, gotten down on his knees in the lobby if necessary. but the look in her eyes devastated, disillusioned. Dunn told him everything he needed to know. She's at the Carlisle. He knows because it's where she always goes when she needs to think. Where she went the night they had their first fight about his working too much. Where she retreated after her gallery's biggest showing fell through. He could go there, could stand outside her door until she lets him explain. Instead, he pours himself 3 fingers of Macallan and sits in the dark. The knock at the door comes just after midnight. Soft, hesitant, nothing like Sophia's usual confident rap. His heart hammers as he crosses the marble foyer, hope and terror warring in his chest. She's still wearing his Oxford shirt over her jeans, hair pulled back in a messy bun that makes her look younger, vulnerable. The suitcase sits at her feet like a small, accusing monument. "I forgot my earrings," she says without looking at him. "The diamond ones, from our wedding." His wedding gift to her. He'd had them designed specially. Had the jeweler engrave their wedding date on the backs where only she would see it. Sophia, her name comes out broken, desperate. "Can I just—" She gestures vaguely toward their bedroom. He steps aside, and she moves past him like a ghost. The scent of rain clings to her hair, mixing with that damn perfume that's been his undoing since day one. He follows at a distance, watching as she retrieves the small velvet box from her jewelry armoire. "I was going to wear them tomorrow," she says to the mirror, not to him, "to lunch with my mother. She's going to ask about the honeymoon, about married life, about whether I'm happy." What will you tell her? Sophia's laugh is hollow. That her daughter is an idiot who believed in forever. "You're not an idiot." "No." She turns to face him, and the pain in her dark eyes is devastating. "Then what do you call a woman who married a man, who's still in love with someone else?" "I'm not." "Don't." She holds up her hand, the wedding ring catching the lamplight. "Don't lie to me anymore. I can't handle any more lies tonight." They stare at each other across the bedroom that 12 hours ago was their sanctuary. The photos from their honeymoon are still scattered across the silk comforter, mocking them with their happiness. "I need to ask you something," she says quietly, "and I need you to tell me the truth." He nods, throat tight. "When you were inside me on our wedding night, on our honeymoon, every time since were you thinking about her?" The question hits him like a physical blow. "Jesus." "Sophia, no, never. But you thought about her enough to kiss her 2 days before you promised to be faithful to me. Forever. It was a mistake. The biggest mistake of my life, was it?" She moves closer, close enough that he can see the tears clinging to her lashes. "Or was marrying me the mistake?" "Don't say that." "Why not? It's what you're thinking, isn't it?" "Poor Sophia. She deserves better. She deserves a man who doesn't have 1 foot still in the past." "That's not true, isn't it?" She's close enough to touch now. Close enough that he can feel the heat radiating from her skin. "Look me in the eyes and tell me you're over her. Tell me that when she called, your first instinct wasn't to run to her." He opens his mouth, then closes it. Because she's right. Because part of him, the broken, self-sabotaging part he spent years trying to bury, did run to Vivian. Did seek out the familiar pain instead of protecting the beautiful thing he'd built with Sophia. "I thought so." She steps back, the distance between them feeling infinite. "But I chose you," he says desperately. "I'm here. I married you. Doesn't that count for something? You chose me by default." The words are quiet but devastating. "After you got your closure with her. After you made sure she was really gone." "That's not." "Yes, it is." Tears spill over now, tracking down her cheeks. "And the worst part is, I would have understood. If you'd come to me, told me you needed to see her, to be sure I would have understood. But you lied to me. You let me plan our future while you were saying goodbye to your past." She starts toward the door, but he catches her wrist. The contact burns soft skin, delicate bones, the pulse point that he's memorized. "Please don't go." She looks down at his hand on her wrist, and something shifts in her expression. The anger fades, replaced by something worse, resignation. "I love you," she whispers. "God help me. I love you so much it physically hurts. But I can't be your second choice, Marcus. I won't be the woman you settled for. You're not." She reaches up, cups his face with her free hand. The touch is gentle, heartbreaking. "If you love me," she says, "really love me, you'll let me go." 3 days, 3 days of silence, of walking through his life like a ghost, of staring at his phone and not calling her. 3 days of meetings he can't concentrate on, meals he can't taste, a bed that feels arctic without her warmth. Marcus stands in his office 60 floors above Manhattan, watching the city pulse with life below. His reflection in the glass looks like a stranger, hollow-eyed, disheveled, defeated. His assistant has stopped asking if he wants to reschedule appointments. His partners have stopped expecting coherent responses in meetings. The knock on his door is sharp, professional. He expects Jana with more contracts he won't read, more calls he won't return. Instead, it's her. Sophia stands in his doorway wearing the charcoal dress he bought her for their first business dinner together, the one that made him forget how to breathe. Her dark hair is sleek, professional, but her eyes, those dark eyes that see straight through him, are rimmed with the kind of exhaustion that comes from crying yourself to sleep. I came to return this. She holds up his Oxford shirt, the one she was wearing when his world imploded. It's been laundered, pressed, folded with military precision. Your doorman said you weren't home. He can't find words. She's here, in his space, close enough to touch but impossibly distant. Sophia, I also came to give you this. She sets a manila envelope on his desk, her movements careful, controlled. My lawyer drew them up this morning. The words hit him like ice water. Divorce papers, annulment. Actually, her voice is steady, professional. Nothing like the woman who whispered his name against his neck just days ago. Easier that way. Cleaner, no. The word tears out of him. Absolutely not. Marcus, please. Don't make this harder than it has to be. Harder. He laughs, bitter and sharp. You want to pretend we never happened. That's not hard. That's impossible. She flinches, the first crack in her armor. What do you want me to do? Stay married to a man who's in love with someone else? I'm not. He stops, runs his hands through his hair. God, I've fucked this up so badly. Yes, you have. Her honesty cuts deeper than anger would. He moves around his desk, closing the distance between them, and she doesn't retreat. Progress. I went to see her, he says quietly, yesterday, Vivian. Sophia's face goes pale, but her voice remains steady. And I told her to never contact me again. That what happened was a mistake. That I'm married to the only woman I've ever really loved. Marcus, she laughed at me. He's close enough now to see the gold flecks in her dark eyes, to catch that scent that drives him wild. Said I was a fool for throwing away what we had. That you'd never love me the way she did. What did you tell her? That she was right. Sophia's eyes widen, and he sees the moment her heart breaks a little more. She'll never love me the way you do, because what Vivian and I had was toxic, destructive. We brought out the worst in each other. He reaches up, frames her face with his hands. She doesn't pull away, but she doesn't lean into his touch either. You make me better, he whispers. You make me want to be the man you see when you look at me. And I threw that away because I was scared. Scared of what? Of deserving you, of being enough for you. Of the fact that what we have is real in a way that what I had with her never was. Tears well in her eyes, but she blinks them back. That doesn't change what you did. No, it doesn't. His thumbs brush across her cheekbones, memorizing the feel of her skin. But maybe it explains why I did it. I don't want explanations, Marcus. I want, her voice breaks. What? What do you want? I want to trust you. The words come out broken, desperate. I want to go to sleep at night knowing that when you say you love me, you mean just me, only me. I do mean just you. But how? Do I know? How do I ever know for sure that you won't run to her again the next time you get scared? The next time we fight? The next time your past comes calling? The question hangs between them like a chasm. Because she's right. How can she know? How can he prove that he's learned, that he's changed, that losing her has shown him exactly what he's willing to fight for? You can't, he says finally. You can't know for sure, just like I can't know for sure that you won't leave me for someone who deserves you, someone who won't hurt you. She stares at him, confusion flickering across her features. Marriage is a leap of faith, he continues, every day, every moment. Choosing to trust when trust feels impossible. Choosing to stay when leaving would be easier. Choosing each other over and over again. His hands slide down to her shoulders, and she doesn't resist when he pulls her closer. I can't promise I'll never hurt you again. He whispers against her forehead. I can't promise I'll never make mistakes, but I can promise that I'll never stop choosing you. That I'll fight for us even when you're ready to give up. That losing you is the only thing I'm more afraid of than loving you completely. She looks up at him, and for a moment, he sees it, the woman who fell in love with his broken edges, who promised him forever, who believed in them enough for both of them. I missed you. She breathes. I'm right here. Are you, really? Instead of answering with words, he kisses her, soft at first, tentative, asking permission, then deeper when she doesn't pull away, when her hands fist in his shirt, when she makes that small sound that drives him wild. When they break apart, both breathing hard, she rests her forehead against his chest. I don't know how to forgive you, she whispers. Then don't. Not yet. But don't leave me either. She pulls back to look at him, and he sees the war raging behind her dark eyes. Love and hurt and hope and fear all tangled together. The annulment papers will stay unsigned. He says firmly, we're going to fight for this, for us. For what we promised each other 3 days and a lifetime ago. 2 weeks later, Sophia sits in their marriage therapist's office, watching Marcus fidget with his wedding ring. The late afternoon light streams through Dr. Chen's windows, casting everything in the same golden glow that painted their honeymoon. Photos, the photos that started everything unraveling. How are you both feeling about the work we've done these past 2 weeks? Dr. Chen asks, her voice gentle but probing. Marcus looks at Sophia, and she sees something different in his gray eyes. Not the desperate guilt of those first days, but something steadier, calmer, like a man who's finally stopped running from himself. Better, he says simply, not fixed, not there yet, but better. Sophia nods, surprising herself, because it's true. The raw, bleeding wound of betrayal has started to scab over. Not healed, not yet, but no longer threatening to bleed her dry. And you, Sophia? I'm learning to separate Marcus from the hurt, she says carefully, to see the difference between what he did and who he is. It's been the hardest lesson, learning that the man who whispers her name like a prayer, who brings her coffee in bed, who looks at her like she's his whole world, that man, and the one who kissed his ex-fiancée, can exist in the same skin. That's significant progress, Dr. Chen notes. Marcus, how has it felt to be completely honest? No more secrets. Terrifying, he admits, but necessary. I kept things from her because I thought I was protecting her. Really, I was protecting myself from having to face who I was, who I've been. Sophia reaches over, takes his hand. The gesture is small, but his sharp intake of breath tells her he feels its significance. I've been thinking about something, she says, looking directly at him. About that night, the night you kissed her. Marcus tenses, but doesn't look away. They've learned that looking away is retreat, running. They don't run anymore. What about it? I think part of you needed to kiss her, to know for sure that chapter was closed. The words taste bitter, but they're true. I hate that you did it 2 days before our wedding. I hate that you lied about it, but I understand why it happened. Sophia, I'm not finished. Her voice is steady. Sure, you were afraid that marrying me was just running toward something, instead of running away from her. You needed to know the difference. Dr. Chen leans forward slightly. How does that make you feel? Sophia, angry, hurt, but also, she pauses, searching for the right words. Also, like maybe we're more honest now than we were before. Like maybe we had to break apart to learn how to really be together. Marcus lifts their joined hands, presses a kiss to her knuckles. I know the difference now, do you? Running away from her felt like escaping prison. Coming home to you feels like coming home to myself. The words hang in the air between them, precious and fragile. Outside, the city hums with life, people falling in love, breaking up, making mistakes, finding their way back to each other. What do you both want from this marriage moving forward? Dr. Chen asks. Everything, Marcus says without hesitation. The fights and the make-up sex, the boring Tuesday mornings, and the Saturday nights dancing in our kitchen, growing old together, watching her fall in love with our children, learning how to love her better every day for the next 60 years. Sophia's breath catches. Marcus, I want to deserve you. He continues, eyes locked on hers. I want to be the husband you believed in when you said yes. I want to prove that choosing you was the easiest decision I've ever made. even when I made it look impossibly hard. Tears slide down her cheeks, but she's smiling. I want to trust you again. Not blindly, I don't think I'll ever love that blindly again, but consciously, deliberately. I want to choose to trust you every day, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Dr. Chen makes a note, then looks up at them both. I think. You're ready. For what? Sophia asks. To go home, together. To start building something new from what's left of what you broke. They leave the office hand in hand. Stepping into the Manhattan evening, the city sparkles around them, full of promise and possibility. Marcus flags a taxi, but Sophia pulls him in a different direction. Walk with me, she says. They stroll through Central Park as the sun sets, not talking, just being. Together, when they reach Bethesda Fountain, she stops. This is where you proposed, she says. You remember? I remember everything about that day. How nervous you were. How you forgot half your speech. How you said my name like it was the only word you'd ever learned. He turns to face her fully, hands framing her face. Sophia Elena Martinez, soon to be Sterling. I'm already Sterling. She interrupts, smiling. Sophia Elena Martinez Sterling. He corrects, will you stay married to me? Are you rape proposing? I'm asking you to choose me. Again, knowing exactly who I am. Knowing I'm going to disappoint you sometimes. Knowing I'm human and flawed and stupid about a lot of things. She pretends to consider it, and his nervous laugh makes her heart flutter. Will you choose me? She counters. Knowing I'm going to be difficult sometimes. Knowing I hold grudges, and I'm terrible at sharing dessert, and I sing off-key in the shower. Every day, he says without hesitation. For the rest of my life. Then yes. She rises up on her toes, lips a breath away from his. I choose you too. Again. Finally, forever. He kisses her as the city lights flicker on around them. As lovers stroll past pushing baby carriages and holding hands. As their story continues where it left off, but stronger now, more honest. Built on truth instead of fairy tales. When they break apart, both breathing hard. She grins up at him. Take me home, husband. Anything for you, wife. They walk toward their building, toward their bed, toward their future. Behind them, Bethesda Fountain catches the last light of day, witness to endings and beginnings, to love that survives its own destruction. In Sophia's purse, the annulment papers remain unsigned. Tomorrow, she'll burn them in their fireplace, watching the flames consume what might have been. Tonight, she'll let her husband show her, with his hands and his mouth and his whispered promises, exactly why some things are worth fighting for. Some love stories end with the kiss. Theirs begins with the choice to keep kissing, no matter what.